live? Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? We're live. Now, do we have sound? Okay, we're live and we have sound. Woohoo! Welcome to Asagao Academy Normal Boots Club. I'm Gina, aka the Gina Chew. My wonderful bot in the chat will show you all the ways you can follow me on social media. You can follow me here on Twitch or on YouTube or on Twitter at the Gina Chew to see when I'll be streaming next. But right now we're gonna continue playing Satch's story, and as the king member of the Shenanigans Club, being a sneaky snake, our current event is Waleed is suspicious. Because Waleed's totally legit and not suspicious at all, right guys? Oh god, I blame Waleed and Kedikers and all of Hidden Block for everything that's going on. Okay, so basically last time, Hana got caught sneaking into the Normal Boots Club at night to try and gather some clues about what happened to the boots. She found that the cabinet that they were locked in was bent. And she also realized that because they're so heavy, there was no way that somebody could really, carry them, all the way off somewhere without getting caught. So she theorizes that the boots are still somewhere in Poppy Hall. However, unfortunately, she told, the guy that caught her, Mr. Saitomo, I believe his name was, the old guy, who happened to apparently be out on a date. And so they just kind of promised to not rat each other out, but she told him she needed a quote-unquote math book, and to cover, grabbed the Dungeons & Dragons book from a pile of junk that was in the Normal Boots Club room, which means now she legitimately is a thief. And I'm sure that that book is going to come into play. The only good thing that I could think of doing as Hana is to just hide that fucking book, really well, and then once they figure out who it actually is and everything kind of calms down, give it back to them and be like, yeah, I had to take this to cover while I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and hoping that they'll be okay with it. I don't know. She knows that it is Jared's book. If Jared goes for one of his late at night D&D sessions and finds the book missing, I don't know. She didn't say what kind of book it was. If it was the core book, she's absolutely screwed. But we shall see what happens. I squinted into the early morning light. If you don't hurry up, you'll be late. How long did you work on that essay anyways? Essay? I blinked at her. Whoa, you really are out of it. Don't deal well with no sleep, do you? Come on, get up. She flung my blankets off me. The cold air rushed around my body and I curled into a tighter ball. You have 15 minutes or I'm leaving without you. I sat up. Memories of the night before rushed back into my head. Mr. Saitomo, the book, and the dent. I got ready for school, speeding through my routine and grabbing something from our mini fridge to tide me over until lunch. Ready to go? Yeah. By the time we made it to Poppy Hall, I felt much less groggy. My hypothesis about the boots came back to me, and without thinking, I mentioned it to Mai. You know, Mai, the boots were made of solid gold. She turned to me in mild surprise. Well, didn't she say they were gold-plated?
Really?
Yeah, so where's this coming from? I was just thinking, they'd probably be heavy, right? It would be too hard for someone to sneak them far from where they were taken. You think they're still in Poppy Hall? There was a gasp from behind us. Mai and I whirled around. Waleed was standing less than a foot away, staring at us with wide eyes. Waleed! You sneaky snake! Oh my god! This guy! Is something wrong? Huh? No! I didn't mean to startle you guys. I just, fell asleep.
What?
You fell asleep? But you were walking. Yeah, I know. It happens all the time, actually. We just stared at him. He glanced around as if looking for a way out. Well, it was nice running into you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. We should catch up sometime, but I've got to get to class.
Bye.
Bye. Catch up. We never really spoken to Waleed. Waleed walked past, waving us wide berth, hands in his pockets. That was really weird. Do you think he heard us? I think so. It was really suspicious regardless. I've never heard of Waleed falling asleep while walking. Me neither. We looked at each other, an idea forming in the space between us. It wouldn't hurt to check things out a bit just to make sure, you know?
Yeah.
You can never be too careful. Just like that, we agreed. We would wait until everyone was at lunch, then we would do a little investigating. Lunchtime came. By the way, I hope that if she finds them, she doesn't touch them, because, like, if they fucking show up, like, at lunch with the fucking boots, they're like, here, we found them! That's gonna be a disaster, too. As everyone crept out of the classroom, Maya and I stayed behind, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Our hope was that it looked like some kind of protest. The normal boots guys, and by extension the entirety of the class, were pretending we didn't exist. Most of our attempts at friendly interaction were completely ignored by the class. The normal boots guys got incredibly uncomfortable and just walked away. Well, most of them. Shane would shoot us a dirty look even if we even got too close to him. Whether they brought it or not, the classroom quickly emptied out, and Maya and I headed to the hallway. Oh, man. Do we even know which one is Waleed's? Well, he's a first year, isn't he? It should be outside of his classroom. We'll be able to figure it out, and if not, well, let's just look at all of them. I balked, but Mai was totally serious. That's what we call, brute forcing the situation. Fuck it, we'll look at everything! We reached the first floor landing and crept along the hallway. Thankfully, nobody was around. They were all engaged in the mad rush to get the good food before the cafeteria ran out. We crept around the corner and into classroom 1-3. It should be one of these. We walked down the hallway, hoping for some kind of sign. Then Mai stopped walking. Oh my gosh! She burst into laughter and pointed ahead of her. Confused, I followed her finger. One locker in the middle of the left row was completely covered in stickers. Curious, I stepped closer. Images of Waleed's face, peppered with various words, were plastered across the locker. Wow! Well, I guess we know which locker belongs to him. Meme Lord Balrog the Butt and other strange sayings were scrawled across each. Wonderful. You've got to be kidding me! I don't really get it. Once upon a time, a few years ago, back before he even came to this school, Waleed had a bit of a temper. Long story short, someone caught it on camera, uploaded it to the internet. Oh. And the rest is history, as you can see. I stared at the different images of Waleed's face. This takes dedication. Did he do it, or did fans? I honestly couldn't tell you. Anyways, let's get to work. Do you mind standing guard? I stepped into the middle of the hallway, alert for any sound or movement from either end of the hall. I fiddled with the handle on the locker, sticking something inside the metal. In a few minutes, the door was open. When did you learn how to do that? I was a rich kid growing up. I had to learn a trick or two just to get out of my house. Your parents didn't let you out of your house while you were growing up? She made a face at me and opened the locker door. What in the name of... I leaned over her shoulder to see what she was looking at. Waleed's locker wasn't empty like mine and Mai's were, but there were no books inside. Instead, a litter of Barbie CD-ROM games were splayed across the top and bottom shelves. And there in the center on the hook bed for a jacket or coat was a fluffy pink and white suit. What? I reached out to touch it. It was soft and there were silken petticoats underneath the shorts. My guess was the ensemble would hit Waleed somewhere in the mid-thigh region, and the pants would fluff up like a bonnet. The shirt was sleeveless with gold-painted buttons and zippers trailing off. What is this for?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Never heard of anything like... She shut the locker door. We've seen something we weren't meant to see. We can't mention this to a soul. Of course not! I don't really get what the big deal is, though. He brought it to his locker, so he must not be that shy about it. I shook her head. You'd be surprised what you could sneak to a locker without anyone seeing. The important thing is he didn't have the boots, so he's perfectly innocent. Not necessarily. Let's just go eat lunch. She stalked off, completely unconcerned as to whether I followed her. I ran to catch up. If Waleed didn't want people to know, there was no reason we should mention it. Well, unless, you know, you find out that they have the boots, and then you have to be like, give me the fucking boots back, or I'm just gonna throw your Barbie CD collection all over the fucking hallway. That might be an option. It would be pretty hard to explain anyways. When we made it to the cafeteria, we were among the last to get our food. Lunchtime searching. Dear diary, what the heck is Waleed up to? He is dressing like a sneaky snake because he's full of shenanigans. Damn it. Okay. My eyes strayed to Waleed at the hidden block table. He was chatting happily, completely unconcerned with the odd suit he had in his locker. I felt blood rise to my cheeks and then we locked eyes. I turned away and focused on getting my food. When we had the chance to sit down, I glanced over at the hidden block table and noticed Caddy, Ian, and Waleed watching me. I grabbed Mai and dragged her out of the cafeteria. I was terrible at keeping secrets. It was better to just avoid the situation entirely. That night, I waited until long after Mai fell asleep to get up again. Crack in the floor. Uh-oh. I changed back into my uniform in the darkness, then snuck out of our room. Wouldn't it be funny if the boots were hidden just somewhere else in the fucking normal Boots Club room? I would strangle them all if that were the case. Waleed hadn't taken the boots, but the look he, Ian, and Caddy gave me at lunch stayed in my mind. It was almost hostile. I didn't understand why. They had no reason to know we were snooping through their things unless they stole the boots! It seemed to me they were on the defensive, so it couldn't hurt to check. I ran across the grounds, this time avoiding the streetlights. I wasn't sure what gave me away with Mr. Saitomo, but it couldn't hurt to be more careful. I made it to Poppy Hall and wandered to where Waleed's locker was. The club room should be around here somewhere. Oh, we're going to go into the Hidden Block club room. If I were a member of Hidden Block, what would I put inside the club room to indicate that was where we met? It was hard. They all had such different, distinct personalities. That's true. But the loudest of personalities would probably have their way. Just then, I walked past the classroom and something pasted on the windows caught my eye. I tried the door. It was open. I stepped into the room and was immediately hit with the pungent smell of old chicken salad, macaroni and cheese, and chips. Good Lord! I couldn't breathe. I struggled to one of the windows and slid it open, gasping in the fresh air. The hell? Does no one take out the trash in here? I glanced around the room and immediately locked eyes with the face on the wall. Uh-oh. Waleed! A giant version of Waleed's face was watching me from the wall next to the door. I shivered. I do not like it in here. Turning away, I caught a note on the blackboard. I'm not taking out the trash anymore. Please learn to do it yourselves. Jeff. Me neither. Love Caddy. Oh, these beautiful dorks. I love it. Just below it were a bunch of scribbles that looked like an argument about who could and could not take care of themselves, with different colors of chalk scribbling out each other's sentences. That explained that. I shook my head and began searching the desks in the room. Most were empty, but... what the hell is a gun doing in here? Slaughter was written in sparkling silver Sharpie on the side. I'm going to die in here. I just am. Leaving the desks behind, I crept my way through the cabinets at the back of the room. Old candy wrappers, several obscure alternative music CDs, a set of extremely expensive-looking microphones and headphones, an old notebook? I took it out and flipped through the first few pages. Inside were cartoons drawn in thick ink, Nokemon, a pink ball of fluff, anthropomorphized rocks.
Hey!
These aren't half bad. But nowhere did I see a reference to the boots. Sighing, I reached to put back the book in the cabinet, but not before scribbling a small image of my face on one of the pages. They wouldn't suspect me. Why would I out myself by drawing my own face? You're already suspicious for stealing the boots. I have a feeling that's gonna backfire on you. All this sneaking around was getting to me. I was becoming a rebel, a bad seed. But there was nothing else I found that could possibly lead me to the boots. I closed the window and left the room, sighing with relief when I shut the door. Thank you, because I was concerned she was going to forget to close the window. The window might have been open, but that hadn't stopped the smell. How in the world did those boys live like that? No. Knowing them, winning the fight was more important than being clean. Yeah, probably. It was a wonder they were all friends with how much they picked on each other. But then, that was probably the point. So... their lockers must have been right around there, too. I stood on my tiptoes, peeking into the slats in the front of the lockers. I couldn't open them without Mai's help, but I could at least see what they had in them. But as I peered through them, I came up empty. Playmaster games, a hamster wheel, something called an Ian box, a Rulian shield. Their lockers were weird, but there was no sign of the boots. As I headed back to the door, my heart sank. It wasn't the Hidden Block Club. Really, that should make me happy. It should be good that they were all true friends to the normal Boots guys. But they were my last, my only lead, really. Now I was back to the very beginning, no better off than I was before. I climbed to my room with heavy steps. I was already 1 in the morning. I had no idea how much time passed. I changed into my pajamas and stumbled into bed. Great. How worthless was I? There was no crack in the floor that we saw. Not that I know of. Yeah, so I'm not sure why that was called crack in the floor, but I don't know. I stared at the book in front of me. I was supposed to be reading, following along with what Miss Shizuka was teaching. Instead, I yawned. The words blurred together in front of me, talking about how a badger made of honey once befriended the 13th cat of the zodiac. I had an even harder time getting up this morning. I didn't think just a few days of less sleep would affect me so much, but they definitely did. I yawned again. I'm gonna yawn. Surely it wouldn't be I couldn't see Strange images swirled in front of me. The boots. The dent in the locker. Satch. Oh, Satch. I was looking at him in the library. This was back when I told him I was going to help him. He was in such a panic. But now that I was looking at it again, I remembered the librarian much more clearly. She was glaring at him so venomously I could feel the heat from where I stood. There was no way she would do anything wrong to him, right? Right? Something shoved into my back and I snapped awake. Feng Shui! Say Feng Shui! Feng Shui? Miss Shizuka, who was staring at me from the front of the class, put her hands on her hips.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is Feng Shui. And what is its purpose? If you place yellow objects at the front of your house, you get more money. And red at the back of the room, people will give you stuff. Shizuka squinted at me. Well, not incorrect. We're talking about the traditional effects of Feng Shui now, Miss Mizuno, not the old country superstitions. Please pay better attention. Yes, ma'am. I sat back down and shot a grateful look at Mai. She nodded to me, face full of concern. I smiled at her and turned back around, hoping that would ease her mind. But as I looked at my book, I suddenly realized I had no idea what the lesson was even about. Hana. Hana. Hana! What? What happened? I blinked at her. My eyes felt gooey and slow, like they were glued shut. Class is over. It's time for lunch.
What?
Already? But did I miss all morning? Mai nodded. I sat up and looked around the class, and only a few stragglers remained, jotting down final notes. I'm sure you've been really stressed about everything that's happened, but it's not good to fall asleep in class. I know that. It's not like I'm trying to fall asleep. But still, this was not good. Asagao Academy was a prestigious school. People only got in if they had high academics, lots of money, or were extremely talented in some way. I was none of those things, the scholarship student. I was the way the school and the other students felt about themselves. If I dragged down the school's image, they'd kick me out without a second thought. I wasn't even sure how I made it in the first place. It's that pink hair that makes you a main character that got you in. It's not your fault if you're having trouble sleeping. Come on, let's go to lunch and not worry about it, yeah? I nodded and stood, feeling somewhat like I was not part of this world. The walls blurred as we headed out of the classroom. Maybe if I touched one, I'd fall right through. When we opened the door, we almost walked right into John and PBG. Whoa! Oh, God.
Hey.
Hey, we were just coming to get you guys. Oh, wait, you're talking to us again? I glanced from the overly cheery John to PBG, who was avoiding eye contact with me. It had been 3 weeks since they last spoke to us. Maybe I was still asleep. As it was, my brain was moving too slow for me to say anything about it. So, the thing is, we want to apologize.
What?
You do? We realized we were being total jerks. We feel terrible about it, or at least I do. Hey, it was an honest mistake. People make mistakes all the time. I stared at John's broad face, trying to click together what was happening. You ignored us for 3 weeks and you're saying it was an honest mistake? PBG elbowed John in the side and shot him a look.
No.
Ignore him. He sticks his foot in his mouth so much you'd think it was a lollipop. But we came to invite you to lunch with us again. If you'll still have us. We want to make it up to you somehow, and we missed you. Both of you! Good cover, PBG. Nice job. Look at Mai, she's like, yeah, whatever. So, you're not suspicious anymore? Well, PBG elbowed him in the side again. Okay, sorry, I just thought it'd be funny. No, we're not. We can't speak for the others, but you have our support. My head swam. The frustration of the past 3 weeks, the betrayal, the late nights, the tears, the whispers, the judgment, all built up inside of me. Did they want us to just forgive them and let it all go? Mai looked at me, waiting for my decision. It seemed she didn't know what to make of it either. Oh, here we go. Oh, God. Oh, God. You know, we... I really don't know what to do here. Okay, so let's work this out. Joining them back at lunch again would probably stop some of the really nasty looks, but, you know, it is going to make things super uncomfortable, and they said they can't speak for the others, so if it's just the two of them and Satch on our side, sitting back at that table is probably not going to be the best idea. I don't even know at this point if the others agreed to this, or if John and PBG just both decided that they were going to invite us back. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I feel like we should just let bygones be bygones at this point and all try to figure it out together. So I guess I would say sure, but I don't really know if that's the right answer. It is! The correct answer is sure. Another reason why I kind of felt like that would be the right thing is because we are romancing Satch. And Satch is a really nice guy who is very much about, like, loyalty, and he seems to be a pretty forgiving guy, so I think that he would probably want us to be just as forgiving. You know, he seemed upset that there was this rift between us, so I think it'll also make Satch happy if we're willing to kind of let bygones be bygones. So let's see. Sure. Really? Yeah. I blinked furiously, trying to clear my eyes of their tired haze. I guess it never hurts to ask, does it? I guess not. Well, you heard the lady. Mai didn't seem overly comfortable with what was happening, but the decision was made and she was going to let me leave now. Or what is it? She wasn't going to let me leave now. Okay. I smiled and grabbed her hand, thankful. She grinned at me in return. Kiss! As we walked to the cafeteria, PBG fell in a step behind me. Hey, are you sure you're okay? I looked up at him in surprise. He was searching my face intently. Also, they now forgave us, and if the fucking D&D book becomes an issue, this storyline is killing me. Oh, what? Yes, I'm fine. But we were such jerks to you guys. We don't deserve to be forgiven that easily. I laughed lightly, but it came out sounding more like a wheeze. It's no big deal. Life is too short to let things like this affect us for too long, right? I guess? Hana's been losing sleep over it. That's why she looks so dead right now. Excuse me? I'm just speaking the truth. I'm so sorry. PBG looked like a sick, sad puppy. That just means we have to work even harder to make it up to you, right, PBG? He stood on his tiptoes and put an arm around PBG's neck, pulling his head down so it was level with John's. He put his lips to PBG's ear and whispered something into it for quite some time. When PBG was finally released, he seemed more calm. It was your decision to make. Yeah. We finally made it to the cafeteria. This should be interesting. After getting our food, we headed to the normal boots table, walking in a straight line like foot soldiers. Satch was sitting at the table too. It seemed he rejoined them since we weren't there to eat with this time. At least it didn't cause a rift. As we approached, Sheen popped his head up.
No.
No. Just no. We didn't even say anything. I'm not eating with those people. Wow! Shane, what a douche! You're overruled. That's not even a thing!
Well,
Well, let's have a vote. Oh, here we go. Slowly, the clatter in the cafeteria turned to silence. Oh, John, why? Who thinks Hana and Mai should be allowed to rejoin the normal boots table? Raise your hand. Satch's hand shot into the air first. Satch, you're so adorable.
yeah.
I do, and it's about time, too. Gerard, Nick, and Paul's quickly followed.
Right?
That's 6 of 9. Sorry, Shane, but you've been outvoted. Shane glared at John, but said nothing. John sat at the table, jaws set and eyes blazing, as if daring someone to argue with him. PBG and Mai soon followed, but I stood frozen where I was. How was I supposed to just sit down and act like everything was normal? Mai grabbed my arm and pulled me to the seat next to her. I avoided Jared, Shane's, and Josh's eyes. At least now I knew who definitely didn't trust me. I gritted my teeth. It wasn't enough that I had to endure 3 weeks of hell for them. It wasn't even enough that I had to immediately forgive them for that hell. They still didn't trust me? The club ate in silence, and I struggled to contain the spurts of anger and shame that were trading stages in my mind. When the bell finally rang to go back to class, I'd never been more happy. After the excitement of the day, it didn't take long for Mai to fall asleep. I lay and listened to her steady breathing, resisting the urge to fall asleep myself. Finally, her gentle snoring began, and I put on some clothes and headed back outside. Detective Hana's on the case! At this point, I was getting used to creeping around at night. It was horrifying the first time, and I had a few close calls, but I didn't think there was going to be someone jumping out from the corners and trying to kill me. The world wasn't as hostile as I thought it was. At least Asagao wasn't. I dashed across the campus and into Poppy Hall. Once I was inside, once I was inside did I realize I really didn't have a plan. There was nothing in the hidden block lockers, and the club room was empty when I last looked. I crept up to the 4th floor, hoping to begin an in-depth search from room to room. Someone had to have it nearby. They were too heavy to move during the day, and it would take at least 2 normal people to move them. Oh, this card event is called Dungeoning. Am I being a good friend? Am I? Oh, God! You're walking the thin line between good friend and doormat, unfortunately. With this in mind, I worked my way from classroom to classroom, closet to desk, searching in lockers and nooks and crannies. Try after try, I found nothing of interest, at least to the boots. There was an oddly large amount of stuffed animals in these kids' desks. As I searched the last desk on the 4th floor, I sighed. Still nothing. Slipping down to the 3rd floor, I braced myself to begin again, until I heard a noise from a closet at the end of the hall. It was coming from an old unused closet just opposite the stairwell. Yellow light ringed the edges of the door. Someone was in there, and they weren't on my way up. There was no way it was a janitor either. The janitor threw up lights on the entire floor when he was cleaning. No, this was someone else. I edged across the hall, taking care to not let my steps echo on the wooden floor, as they were prone to do when no one else was in the hallway. Finally, I made it to the edge of the door. Taking in a deep breath, I grasped the cold handle, then all at once turned it and pushed the door open. Oh, God! Really? How much you want to bet he's looking for that D&D book? How much do you want to bet? Jared stood before me, a collection of books at his feet and on the shelf above him. In his arms was an opened version of the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons? I glanced at the books on the floor. The 3rd edition, 3.5, 4th edition, Warhammer, and a myriad of what looked like new locations and expansions lay in order of edition and release date. They sparkled in the light, mint condition despite how old they were. Jared and I locked eyes. We didn't say anything. We didn't move a muscle. Time was suspended. I couldn't take it. Indecent! I screamed and ran, sprinting for the staircase door. Are we gonna have another one of those running scenes? Hana, wait! Jared was following. I pushed through the stair door and down through the 1st floor, bursting through, but Jared was catching fast. Damn your good genes! Damn you and your amazing legs, Jared! The front door was too far away. I'd never make it. Instead, I dove into a 1st-year classroom, hoping he hadn't seen me, but... Hana. No! Stay away from me! I ran to the back of the room. There was nowhere for me to go. He slowly approached, eyes gleaming. You saw nothing. I wish! He was finally in front of me. I said you saw nothing. Jared slammed his hands against the wall at either side of me. I was trapped, pinned to the wall. Oh. Oh! Oh god, his sparkles are up close! Damn it, Hana, now is not the time for that!
No.
Hana, please. Suddenly I was thankful for the dark because I was definitely the one being indecent right then. Don't tell anybody what you just saw, please. I wasn't sure which was more visceral to me, my fear or Jared's presence. Finally I caved just to get him out of my face. Okay, I won't tell anyone, I promise.
All right.
Hana. He swept me up in a hug. Suddenly I realized I was pinned between the wall and against Jared. I flushed a deep red, not sure where to put my arms. Thank you so much. I was going to die here. The blood would leave my body, go to my face, and I wouldn't be able to breathe anymore. Jared is hugging us! Oh, look, we did more than that in the last playthrough, but Jared is not the one we're going for this time. Goodbye, world! It was nice knowing you! What was that? Jared released me, instead tugging me to the floor. We crouched there for a few moments, waiting. The sound of footsteps ran across the hall along with what sounded like a muffled curse. Then silence. We should leave. We really shouldn't be here. Jared looked at me as if just realizing I was also sneaking around the academy in the dead of night. I won't tell if you don't ask. Good enough for me. Quietly, still crouched, we crept out of the first floor classroom and into the main hallway. Sweet Jesus, look at that! Now we knew what made that noise. A large crack sat in the middle of the floor, all splintered and dented wood. Somebody was trying to carry the boots and they dropped it! Ah! Somebody dropped something really heavy. You don't think... the boots? We looked at each other. Immediately we dashed outside Poppy Hall, scanning the nearby area. Damn it! Oh, I guess our chance to find them in Poppy Hall is gone now. You've got to be kidding me. They were right outside the wall, Jared. They were right there and we missed them. We shouldn't have left when we had the chance. Stupid. I'm sorry. I was the one who stopped us. Yeah, you were. A slight smirk crossed his face. At least now I know what you were doing in here. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, if you don't mind, it's late and I should be getting to sleep. Stiffly, I began the walk back to Primrose House.
Hana?
Hey, Hana? I whipped around. Shh! What? I'm sorry I suspected you. Taken aback, I didn't know how to respond. Well, I'm sorry I was so rough about it. I really didn't know what else to say. Jared waved a hand at me in the careless way he had.
Bye.
Don't even worry about it. Good night, Hana. So slowly they're coming around, but I don't know if they realize, like, how much pain they caused Hana. Like, I'm starting to get emotional personally because... oh, man. Sometimes things in this game hit really close to home. And it's painful. And I nodded, and this time when I left, I wasn't stopped again. At least not until I made it back to the dorm. Something seemed off. Quietly, I slid the key in the lock and turned it. The click that usually sounded so quiet now sounded like the clanging of a clock tower. Nervously, I opened the door. Shit.
What the hell?
I knew you were up to something. No, I was just, in the bathroom. Yeah, in your uniform? And you put on your clothes for that? I looked down at my uniform. I'm... bathroom shy?
Really?
And you were gone for 3 hours? I really needed to poop? Oh, Hana. Mai's like, are you fucking kidding me? Fine, you got me. Now let me in. So what happened? I wasn't sure what to tell her. I hadn't prepared anything in advance. And in an effort to make it all seem casual, I said the first thing that came to mind. I forgot a book and went to get it, but ran into Jared on the way. Jared? Oh, shit. It had to be Jared, didn't it? Okay, you cannot hold out on me. Tell me what happened. I need all the details. You're my best friend, aren't you? Oh, low blow. Now what? Break the promise and tell my... Okay. I have a feeling we need to keep the promise. Maybe we should break the... There's... Oh, God. I don't know. There should be a way to tell... Couldn't we just say that, like... I was looking... Like, can't you just be honest? Like, I was looking for the boots. I ran into Jared. I don't know what he was doing there. He told me not to say anything. I have no idea what's going on. Don't talk to me. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I would say keep the promise, I guess. Let's see what we have to choose. Yes, we are supposed to keep the promise and not tell my. Okay. Okay, good. Look, I can't really talk about that. What? What? Oh, why not? I just can't, okay? Mike crossed her arms.
This is so stupid.
I tell you the deepest, most darkest secrets of my entire life and you can't even tell me what you were doing with Jared? I held up my hands. It was nothing like that, I swear. We really did just run into each other, but I'll tell you something even better. In a hushed whisper, I told her about the crack in the floor. We just missed him. Him? Or her, I guess. And while I was coming off the walk, I had an idea. Well, what if whoever took the boots also took the books? What if someone has it out for Satch? But who would except for Hidden Block? Satch is the sweetest. If it's the librarian... that librarian though. Oh, she just joined the Sneaky Snakes. She is part of the Shenanigans Club now.
Well,
maybe it's not Hidden Block in its entirety trying to ruin Satch. Maybe it's just Jimmy since they're going against each other in the tournament. It's not that I wanted to think that Jimmy did it, but it was the best lead I had at this point. The librarian, though. I'm going to bed. She swept past me, climbing the ladder to her bed. What? That's it? But this is a huge lead. It's late. Go to sleep. She crawled under the covers and turned away from me. I suddenly felt exhausted. I changed into my pajamas, flipped the lights off, and fell into bed. I was asleep in seconds. Oh! Let's just ignore that. Oh. Okay, it looks like I found a very specific exception. Alrighty, that's fine. The next morning was awful. Let me save. Let's see if it works now. No, it doesn't. Okay. I almost didn't get out of bed. It took my shaking me awake 5 minutes before we were about to leave for me to even wake up. As soon as I saw what time it was, my heart flew to my throat. I never got ready so fast. The spike of adrenaline immediately after waking me left me feeling lightheaded and oddly not in my body. I tried to let the cool morning air wake me, but the world just looked strange in the sunlight. It was like I was trapped in a computer program and the sunlight was painted on. It simply did not belong. When we made it to Poppy, I was relieved. All I wanted was to collapse in my seat and maybe catch a few quick minutes of sleep, though I doubted I'd be able to after such a rough awakening. Hana! Before I could even get to the classroom door, a panicked voice stopped me. A worried Satch stood in front of me. In fact, this was the most worried I'd ever seen him. He was wringing his hands and searching my face and apparently did not like what he found. Jared told me.
What?
What? He raised his eyebrows meaningfully and took a second for my brain to catch up to what he was implying. Damn it, that jerk! He said I wasn't going to tell! And to think I kept his secret last night. That's not important. I know what you're doing and I don't like it. I want you to stop. You can't tell me what to do. And why not? I told you I have this under control. You're just going to get yourself in trouble. You're in enough trouble as it is. He stopped and his annoyance turned to concern. He reached out and brushed my face. How many nights have you been doing this? It isn't healthy. Satch, we can't even be mad at you. You're so sweet. I pushed his hand away. I don't care. I had to do something. Satch deflated a little, then gathered himself up again. That's besides the point. I told you I'm going to clear your name. You should be taking better care of yourself. Nobody even suspects you anymore. Not really. Not after what you did for Jared. It's about time. It only took the... Wait! You think I'm doing this for me? I searched his face and he looked back at me in confusion. Yes? A surge of anger bubbled in my stomach. You've got to be kidding me! It's not about being suspected. I've been suspected for 3 weeks. I can stand a few more. Then why are you doing this? We were all out yelling, for us anyway, in the middle of the hall. Class was starting in just a few minutes and the swarm of students walking by stopped to watch us. You're so stupid! It's because of you! You're working so damn hard all the time and you take on all this extra work and you never tell anybody. I couldn't just sit around and watch it happen. You've been so stressed but you're still trying to help out me and Mai. It's totally stupid. Tears stung my eyes but my attempt to stop crying didn't work. It wasn't like me to get so worked up but... Alright, no sleep. Satch stared at me speechless. I shook my head. You only rely on yourself and you never tell anybody what's wrong. You just help other people. Well, you need someone to rely on too. I don't want you to work alone anymore. I just don't. I stopped, unable to say more, wiping my face. Blame it on exhaustion, but I didn't even care that people were watching. I just wanted Satch to understand. The students, clearly uncomfortable, started filtering into the classroom. Satch gestured a few times, clearly about to begin speaking, but each time he thought better of it. Finally, he swallowed. We can work together. We can? Satch nodded, seemingly unaware of the action. Sure. The school bell rang. Class was starting. I beamed at Satch. He stood still in front of me as if in a stupor. Satch? No response. I stepped behind him and gave him a shove towards the staircase.
Hey!
Go! You're gonna be late for class. Oh. Right.
Alright, be good.
I'll see you later, Hana. You better. I think he was just in shock that somebody wanted to take care of him. Okay, we're still getting that error. I stepped into the classroom and I went to close the door behind me. I heard Satch quietly whisper, "Thanks." Yeah, I guess he's so used to doing stuff for people that I guess he didn't realize that anybody else saw it. Poor guy must not get a lot of assistance from people. If you don't mind taking your seat, Miss Mizuno? Class is waiting. Yes, ma'am. I dashed to my seat, waiting for Shizuka to lay some kind of punishment on me. Instead, a small smile tugged at the corner of her lips. Now then, shall we discuss the benefits of motion controls to modern video games? Let's not! Let's not talk about that, because it's a very controversial topic. Yeah. The class groaned, and like that, it was over.
Yo, what's up?
So, what was that about? You know, just a small victory. Satch and Hana sitting in a tree. My! I forgave you once, Miss Mizuno. Don't think I'll do it again. Yes, ma'am. I sank a little in my chair and pulled out my book. There was no way I would fall asleep this time. Yeah, Hana. Here we go. Dear Diary! Damn it! Beautiful. Current event, creeping! And we got some tournament points. That's good. I sprinted to the library. Satch was sure to be working and he had to know what I discovered about the boots. He would probably have an answer. As I flung open the doorway to the library, several heads shot up in my direction. The librarian was nowhere to be seen. I ran to the front desk and slammed my hands on it. Satch! Satch's head peeked from the staff room. Seeing me, he grinned and came out.
Hana.
Hana, to what do I owe the pleasure? I think I figured out something about the boots. He frowned, glanced around, and then waved me back behind the counter and into the staff room. He closed the door and glanced through the glass. Then he motioned for me to speak. I began to tell him exactly what happened last night. When I mentioned running into Jared, he held his hand up.
What?
What exactly did you see? I shifted nervously. It happened really fast, so I didn't see much. I was really freaked out, and so was he. I just bolted immediately. I don't know why he was in there. Satch gazed into my eyes, and I swallowed heavily. I wasn't going to out Jared, not even to one of his friends. But something told me Satch knew I was lying. Finally, he sighed. Continue. I finished my story, describing the dent we saw on the ground and my belief that someone moved the boots out of the hall. So whoever took them might be planning on selling them or on keeping them out of your hands for some reason. Interesting. The boots are worth a lot of money, so it would almost make sense for somebody to sell them. Except that almost every student here is loaded, the main exception being you. I winced. Regardless, this is great information to know. I'd really rather you didn't risk yourself going out at night. School is important and you worked so hard to get here. I don't want to know what they'd do if they found you, and there are other dangers as well. You're lucky you only ran into Jared. Lucky? I was scared for my life. Exactly. But I don't want to keep you long. I know you have work and you can't get into any trouble either. I chuckled. Satch, however, was staring out the glass window. Hana, duck. Where? He put a hand on my shoulder and gently pressed me downwards. I squatted on the floor as his eyes slid across the glass. What's going on? Shh, 1 second. My knees hurt. Come here, quickly, and look. I stood and moved into the corner with Satch. From where we were standing, we could just see into the far side of the library. There, holding a giant stack of books, was So, what's wrong with that? Watch her. She glanced around herself, then slinked up against the bookcase, vanishing from view. A few seconds later, she appeared further down the library. Again, she looked around her, then made a mad dash for the door. Then she was gone. What was that about? I tried to laugh it off, but it came out more like a wheeze, terribly unconvincing. Satch took off his glasses and polished them against his white cotton shirt. I did not like where this was going. It would not be pretty. This isn't the first time I've seen her do this. Well, so? You don't know what she was doing. Maybe those were her books. Maybe she was getting them for a teacher. He stared me in the eyes. Do you really think that's the case? Oh! Oh, man, this is rough. I really want to trust her, but I personally kind of doubt her. Let's see what we're supposed to continue to trust her. Okay. We're gonna trust Mai. She better not betray that trust. Mai's my friend. I don't think she would do this. At least, I want to talk to her before I go assuming she's some kind of thief. She deserves better than that. I'm sorry. It was rude of me to imply. We don't have any proof. No decisions can be made until then. He sighed heavily, rolling his shoulders. Thank you for letting me know about this. You're pretty reliable, you know? No, I'm not. I'm really not. I glanced away and heard a door open. Satch was waiting for me to leave. Right, I'll just, go.
See you later.
Come by again soon, Hana. He winked. I blushed and skittered out of the library, relief flooding over me. Satch, you smooth mother trucker. But as I reached the hall, I stopped. Would Mai really put Satch in danger like that, after all he did for us? I really didn't know what to think. I was walking back to the dorm a few days later, enjoying the late spring sunlight on my face when I heard someone call my name.
Hana.
Hana, there you are. Oh, see if we got... Alright. Mai's missing books. Really? Mai! Okay. Dear Diary, I keep having flashbacks to what happened in Amarisu, and it just makes me mad. So mad. So mad I want to cry. I came here to leave all this behind, not take it with me. I hate this. What up? Satch? He reached me and bent over, panting slightly. Were you running to catch me? You walk surprisingly fast. I waited a bit for him to catch his breath. He glanced around us surreptitiously. Mai isn't with you? That's strange. She's at volleyball practice. She's part of the team, you know. Well, that's convenient. She's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I really didn't like the way he said that. Remember how we saw her sneaking through the library the other day? Yes. Another chunk of books are missing from the library. In other words, she didn't check out those books. Okay. He looked at me expectantly. I don't think I like what you're implying. Can you blame me? What else am I supposed to think?
I don't know.
I don't know. Better of your friend, maybe? You know Mai, she wouldn't do something like this. Do I? People can surprise you, Hana. You shouldn't trust people so easily. He said it so bitterly that I was caught off guard. Without anything to say, we stood in a tense silence. Then he sighed. It makes sense, that's all I'm saying. It wouldn't hurt just to ask her, would it? Well, yes, it would. It would be betraying her trust on an issue she was already really sensitive about. But Satch didn't know she had kleptomania. He probably thought it would be as simple as a stick of cotton candy. I'll see what I can do.
Right on.
Thanks, Hana. But I've got to go to work now, so I'll see you later. Yeah, bye. I watched as he hustled off in the direction of the library, feeling nauseous. I really didn't want to think Mai was the one who was stealing everything. Not after she so sincerely told me she hadn't taken the boots. Well, she didn't say anything about not taking the library books. Did I have to confront her? Well, I did share a room with her. It wouldn't be hard to do a little bit of snooping now, would it? That night, I rose from bed like a vampire. Searching. With my snores like ambient noise, I crept to her desk. Ignoring the guilt in my stomach, I used my cell phone as a flashlight. I didn't see anything incriminating, no library books, just her regular school books. I pulled open her drawers, not daring to do more than stare at whatever was on top of the pile. I was incredibly messy, tons of random stuff thrown left and right. But there was no room for the books in any of her drawers. As far as I could tell, she got off scot-free. But that didn't make any sense. I saw Mai taking books out of the library, so shouldn't they at least be somewhere? Where else might she have put them? I sighed and put on some slippers. Time for another secret outing. I made it to the classroom without incident, heading over to Mai's desk and sliding my hand through it. Money? 5,000 yen? I'll just put that back where I found it. Who leaves 5,000 yen just sitting in their desk? These rich kids, I swear. Regardless, there were no books. There was only one last place to look. Mai's locker was directly next to mine, so I stepped on my tiptoes and peered through the slots. There was her full-length poster of Jared! Wow! My! Oh, God, and you know what? If Jared found it, he wouldn't even be upset. He would be delighted! I also had her volleyball team jacket dangling from her coat hook, and there at the bottom of her locker was a pile of books. My heart spelled up, but I tried angling my phone's flashlight to get a better look and see if I could read the titles. But no matter how tried I light... Wow, English just went out the door. No matter how I tried, the light wouldn't reach. I put my cell phone back in my pocket and sped out of Poppy Hall. I emerged into the night. The wind chilled my skin, but despite that I felt hot, alert, awake. I didn't want to go back to the dorm, not after what I found. So instead I turned and headed for the field. It was a long walk, especially in the dark. Halfway there I found myself regretting such a stupid decision, especially with the trees and shrubs shrouding the trails and making me feel like someone was watching me. But I let my adrenaline lead me, and in no time I was at the field. The field at night was peaceful, almost spiritual place. As I walked to the great oak, I felt like there were others with me, watching over me. Maybe fairies? Or elves? Or... Satch!
Huh.
I knew it. I glanced around me nervously, unsure of where to go or what to do. I couldn't sleep? Apparently not. You've been having a hard time sleeping for a while, haven't you? And do you usually break curfew and go sneaking around the grounds when you can't sleep? I didn't know what to do. Satch seemed angry, and I didn't like being out there alone in an empty field at night with an angry Satch. Anger had always scared me, even more so after my time at my old school. I hated being angry. I hated seeing other people angry. I didn't know what to do. Hana. Satch sighed. You know, we're partners now, so you don't have to do this all by yourself. Can't you at least tell me when you're going to do something like this? I don't want you to put yourself in danger. I'll go with you, so don't go alone. I'll protect you. Are you worried about me? I grinned at him and he rubbed his temples. I swear, you're going to be the death of me.
Seriously?
You were! Look. Without thinking, I hugged him. Satch's arms fell limply to his sides. Thank you, Satch. After a few seconds, his arms wrapped around me, too. I just don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to suffer because of me. I buried my head into his chest, chuckling. Silly. That's exactly what I was thinking about you. After all this with the boots and now these books. Satch laughed and I felt his chest shake with each exhale. Of course we would. We stood like that for a while. After some time, Satch nudged me slightly. Hana, look. I stepped away from him and gasped. Fireflies. Fireflies lit the air around us, floating through the tree limbs and dotting the night sky as if they were stars. They're beautiful. Satch nodded, pulling me closer towards him. Satch, you're so adorable. Satch walked me back to Primrose House, guarding me like a knight. I thought about telling him about the books, but decided not to. I had no proof. There was no reason to make him even more suspicious of Mai. They were just books. They could be anything. Good night, Satch. Good night, Hana. My feels are all over the place! And I think that this will be a good time... Oh, failing. Oh, shit. I think this would be a good time to stop. Oh, God, failing and she's talking about a test. I have a feeling Hana's grades are going to start tanking. I'm really... Guys, everything is falling apart and then other things are going really well and there are things and feelings all over the place. I don't know what to do. But, this is going to be a good place to stop. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at TheGinaChew to see when I will be streaming next. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming tonight. I have to see if I'm going to have time. But it won't be at the normal 7 p.m. I doubt that it will be anyway. But keep an eye on my Twitter and you guys can see when I will be streaming next. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the stream of Asagao Academy. And I will see you guys soon.